Hello and welcome back to the Wild Times. I am David and I'm by myself today. So I'm gonna head right in with step number 1. Why? So a big reason you have to ask yourself when you're trying to lose weight or do any sort of self-improvement journey is why? Why are you doing it? So for me, a big part was just this. Being able to be outside in the woods, hiking and camping and doing all sorts of physical activity that I wasn't able to when I was 130 kilos. I didn't have the energy and I could not keep up, so my friends had to wait for me a lot, and all in all it wasn't a really enjoyable situation for either me or sadly them as well. So what's your why? Why do you want to lose weight? Do you want to lose weight because someone else tells you that you should, or do you want to do it for your own reasons? So figure that out and we'll get right into step 2. Now that you have your why, I don't know your why, so I'm gonna use mine as a theoretical case. So your why: you want to be able to be out in nature and hike and camp and be active. Alright, step number 2: understanding your vices. Now if you don't know what a vice is, it's something that you indulge yourself in that you know you're not supposed to. So, for example, me in this case, I've always loved food. I still do, and I tend to overeat, which is a huge problem when you're trying to lose weight. So I still, to this day, overeat. I eat way too much, much more than I'm supposed to, but I have it a lot more under control than I did when I was a teenager and I was a kid, because I was dealing with a lot of other difficulties as well. But for the main thing, I used my vice, so I used food for everything. If I was sad, I ate. If I was celebrating, I would celebrate with food. If I felt bad about anything, I would eat, which I guess is the same as sad. But you get what I'm saying. Everything I had was tied into food. There's animals about, scary. But everything was tied into food. So with that, I had to improve and learn to handle my vice, to learn to, well, get it under control, to some extent anyway. As I said, I still have issues, but I'm using new systems. I have a new daily regime or daily schedule when I'm supposed to eat and how much I'm supposed to eat. And just having that in my head, even though I don't follow it to a full extent or 100%, I still have it in my mind, and I try to understand what it is I'm putting in my body. So step number 3, it ties very perfectly into what I was saying before with food. It's understanding what you're eating. So I'm not telling you to count calories, I'm not telling you to count your macros, I'm not telling you to do any of that if you don't want to, of course. I'm telling you to understand what it is you're putting in your body. There's a difference between unhealthy food and food that makes you overweight. So unhealthy food, throw that out of the window. If your main focus is losing weight, then that is where your main focus should be. If you want to have a soda, if you want to consume alcohol, and that's your prerogative as long as you do it in an understanding manner. So what really counts is your calories. You don't have to count them as long as you understand what it is you're eating. For example, 100 grams of mayonnaise contains about 637 calories, and your daily intake should be, depending on who you are, woman or male, and how much you exercise and your age, but it should be around 2000. So eating 100 grams of mayonnaise is a third of your daily intake, which you can understand is a lot. It's so much. So for me, for example, I've put mayonnaise off the table. We don't have mayonnaise in my home. It's not something that we buy ever, because it's just so calorie dense that it's just never worth it from my point of view. So understanding that, making sure that, okay, a soda is, let's say, I don't actually know the numbers, but let's say 37 calories per 100 grams. But if you drink a sugar-free soda, it's 2 calories. per 100 gram, or even 1 calorie per 100 grams. And understanding that, okay, I know Josie, my spouse, she doesn't enjoy sugar-free soda. She doesn't like the taste. And for me personally, I don't really mind the difference. But understanding that if you want to have your normal soda and you're still trying to lose weight, then those amount of calories are going to go away from your food. But if you instead take the sugar-free soda that you might enjoy a little bit less, if that's your case, you're going to be able to eat more food, which is going to keep you full for longer, which is generally just better. Now, what I would suggest is just drinking water, but I understand that losing weight, it doesn't have to be miserable. Some parts are gonna be miserable, absolutely, we're getting to that. But just your food doesn't have to be miserable. You can still eat good and interesting food that you enjoy. It's just about understanding what you're eating, which is what I'm trying to get at. Understanding that you have a certain amount of food you can eat per day, certain amount of energy that your body can burn, and understanding what type of food gives you different amounts of energy. And then as long as you have that understanding, at least that's how it was for me. Of course, I can't speak for you, I can only speak for myself, but from my experience, my personal experience, understanding that makes it a lot easier to go about your life. Now, when I lost weight, when I actually did my weight loss journey, this feels like ages ago, but it's still in my head. I didn't do any of that. The only thing I did was step 4, exercise. It's the only thing I did. I starved myself as well. I stopped eating. I ate the absolute bare minimum. I ate so little that I was in constant pain because I was hungering so much. I was so hungry. But I focused on my exercise. So I was getting my steps in daily. I was getting between 6 and 12,000 steps per day. And that was my sore focus. I had blisters on my feet. I was bleeding off my feet. I had wounds and everything. But I was still focusing on that one goal to hit my steps. And that's how I did it. If I did it again, that would not be how I would do it. I would focus more on the eating part and less on the exercise part. But exercise is important. So, because that burns calories and it allows you to consume more, or if you stay at the same consumption, you're gonna lose weight faster. It's very simple, the math of it all. But what I want you to understand is something very important. You have to find the exercise for you. If you wanna go out running, then go out running. For me, that's miserable. I hate running. It's the worst thing ever. My lungs are horrible. They're broken and I can't breathe, and then I just hate running. So running's not for me. What do? Walking. Walking is good. Absolutely. I don't really like walking. I enjoy going out in the woods like this. I enjoy making the videos. That's actually something I'm doing to help me keep my weight under control. I enjoy going camping. I enjoy going hiking, but the act of walking for walking, hate it. Miserable. So what do? I try different things until I find what I like. So I enjoy going to the gym. I enjoy lifting weights. Now you might think, but David, lifting weights, how is that good for weight loss? All I've ever heard is running is good and walking is good. Well, they are good, but understanding your exercise is super important, because when you exercise, let's say you go to the gym for an hour and you lift weights. That's going to be calories burned. Your body is going to start building muscle, which you need to eat protein for, but that's a later step. But your body is gonna start burning calories even when you're not at the gym, and then if you keep that up, you start building on these calories burned per day passively from your exercise. So if you keep on building and keep exercising, you're gonna, first of all, you're gonna get stronger, which is gonna make lifting so much more enjoyable. You're gonna get healthier. You're gonna feel more strength. You're gonna have more strength in general. Like, you're gonna be able to walk much longer because of your strength training. And then also you're gonna start passively burning more and more calories, which is gonna help you lose weight in the long run. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video so far. I thought I've talked about my weight loss journey before, and I thought I wanted to do some sort of a concrete video I made a video about this before on my own solo channel that I don't really post on anymore, but I wanted to do a revised version where I'm more alert to what I'm saying and more prepared, and I wanted to make it, well, as good as possible. It's very wet here, by the way. I am filming this after our winter video, but the most of it has melted. It's been a warm couple of days, and then now it's very wet out in the woods, and I didn't prepare for that because I'm in sneakers. But now, on to the last step of the journey, the step I'm currently in and will be for the rest of my life. And I must say, for me personally, this is the hardest step. And it's step number 5, motivation. How the hell do you still stay motivated, right? It's such a hard question. And on your journeys, if you're trying to lose weight, or if you're trying to stop any other sort of vice or anything like that, you're going to notice that that's the hardest part. Especially, so let's just take my case for example. I would eat when I was sad, right? What happens, I think, so let's say I have a cat, right? What happens if the cat dies while I'm starting my journey? It's a very extreme example, but it happened to me. How do you deal with the pain? Because my normal way would be eat, right? But I didn't want to eat. So how do I deal with it? I couldn't figure it out, and I was miserable, and I jumped back into eating. Then, luckily for myself, I caught myself quite quick, and I managed to get back on track. But those sort of things, right? They're gonna come back. So instead of just understanding your vices and trying to remove them, replace them with better stuff. For example, if you're eating to celebrate something and you're gaining weight and you don't want to do that, maybe change the eating part of, well, I'm celebrating. Maybe I should, I don't know, go for a swim, have a relaxing day at the spa. Now I understand these things cost money and that's a whole separate issue, but in this thought exercise we're gonna have unlimited money and not care about that, because otherwise we'll be here all day, and we don't want to do that. But keeping motivation and then understanding your why again. That's why I want to put emphasis on step 1, like your why, like why it is so important as it is, because you have to understand why you're doing what you're doing. Because if you don't, then you're gonna get to the step where you lack motivation and you're gonna have to restart again, but it's gonna be so much harder to really get going again because you don't understand why you started in the first place. And that was my issue for many years, when people were complaining that I was fat. Maybe not directly to my face, but I know they did. But understanding how you're gonna get going again. It's so hard when it doesn't come from inside, you know. You have to decide that enough is enough. And that's what happened to me. And then I stopped doing a whole bunch of other stuff that were bad for me that I didn't really give a shit about at the time, like drinking. I stopped drinking completely after a bit when I started my weight loss journey, because I realized that the alcohol, for me anyway, was just setting me back and I wasn't getting any out of it. So I just stopped, and there was nothing more to that really, not for me anyway, and I've been sober ever since. I don't really have a good ending to the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys learned something. I hope I could share something intimate with you that, well, makes you understand a little bit about who I am and why I do the things I do. I'm a very peculiar person. I can be very angry, I can be very emotional, but I think I'm still doing it from a headstrong space. At least I hope I am. And then I have the people around me, my close friends and my dear partner, that help me understand when I'm overstepping, when I'm being a little bit too much of a douchebag. Because I am a douchebag. I understand that and I've accepted it, and to some extent I enjoy being what I am, but I try to not be a douchebag every now and again. It's a very dumb point to make. I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed.